Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in. In today's video, we'll talk about getting the document and getting a list of documents from onload action. So this is actually the first action that is executed when you load a page. Why you need that? Because sometimes when you load a page, you will actually need an access to this page in order to check something. For example, you can have a condition. So in your action flow, you can actually have a condition which will check what is going on. And if the user is admin, for example, redirected to some other page, if it's a normal user, then stick it to the same page. Or for example, for authentication purposes or some other purpose, whatever the purpose you would like to have. So in this case over here, I'm having the, for example, I'm having the class, the collection, sorry, which are the name of the collection is cars, and then I have three simple cars over here. So you have the brand and the name who actually owns own this car. And then over here, where is the FlutterFlow action, where is the actions of the onload page actions, you can actually get the document. And then, like as I said, when you get the document, you can do something with it. So in my case, I'm getting, for example, here, I'm getting the brand. So I'm putting this brand inside local storage. And then here, I can just say if the brand is equal to Tesla, for example, or BMW, it doesn't matter. So I can go over here and I can say if the brand, which I stored in the local name called name, and then I can say equal to, and I can say specific value, and I can say equal to Tesla, for example. And then if it's a Tesla, then do something. If it's not Tesla, then don't do anything, for example, or do something else. You get the idea. And then this actually, if you load the document from over here, so if you say query collection cars and get the single document or get all the documents, doesn't matter. There is no way you can actually after that use this data. So let me show you what I mean. If I query this collection cars and single document, if I get that single document, and if I go to onload action, because the most important part here is that what is actually executing first. So the first thing that is executed is onload action, and then is this executed the query on the scaffold. So the scaffold is the first widget on your page. So when you go over here, let me delete this one. And let's say that we want to use this information. So if I go over here, how should I use this? There is no, as you can see, there is no backend query. You can do it from here. So in order to do this, the only thing you can do this, the only way you can do it, sorry, it is with a custom action. That is what we're going to do now, and what I'm going to show you, because there's no way you can access the widget state from over here. So the only, as I said, the only way you can do it is with a custom action. So let me see if this is loading. It is probably loaded. And then, so what is the idea? The idea is that, let me delete this first because we don't need it. And then let me show you what is the workflow and what we currently have. So if I load the application, this is the application. And here we have two buttons. The first one is get single document, and the second one is get multiple documents. So if I click over here, I should able to get a single document, which in my case here is Tesla, and the brand name, this is the brand name, sorry, and this is the owner of the car. So if I go back and go get documents, I will get all the documents over here. If I, for example, add a new document, let's say that I add name will be equal to some random name, and the brand will be brand, and this will be, I don't know, a lot of brands. Mercedes, for example, I can't spell it, but okay, let's imagine. Okay, and then if I go back, this is not updating in real time, so I need to go back because I'm fetching the data, I'm querying the data on load. So it's already queried, it will not update. So let's click over here, and now we see the new brand over here. So let me show you how I did it. Now, first thing first, those are the two buttons that I have, and I'm querying the buttons. So I have a backend query on the buttons. So if I go over here, the first button is I'm getting only a single document, and the second button is that I'm getting a list of documents. So I'm getting all the documents over here. Why I'm doing this? Because I need to pass the reference, because I will use this reference in order to query after that the document on load in the custom action. So if I go over here to the action, I have to pass the parameter, and the parameter that I'm passing is the document reference. The document reference is passed by when I go over here, when I go to cars. So this is, you can see it because this on the left side over here, this is highlighted. So you can see it because this is highlighted. And if I click over here, I will pass the reference. So I'm passing the reference, click confirm, and this is okay. This is good to go. And then for the second button, it's almost the same thing as I show you. I'm querying all the list of documents, in this case cars, and then I'm passing the list of documents, and the list of documents I'm passing it with map list items, and then I'm referring to the reference. So I don't have anything else to refer because the only thing I'm expecting to get a reference, so the only thing that I can choose from here is actually the reference. So I close this, and no further action, no further changes, sorry. It's available options. I don't need any available options. So for example, you can filter the list over here, and you can say that, okay, filter the cars that are only with the brand of BMW or Tesla or wherever, or that are owned by whoever is owned to. But this is not what the video is about, so let's close this one. So this is the part over here. So this is the first part. And the second part is that for single document, let me show you the setup, and then I will show you the code. So you need to pass here, you need to get a page parameter. So the page parameter will be docref, and this is a document reference to cars. It's a single parameter because the first page will only need a single parameter. And then if I go to actions, so let's go to onload action, on page load, sorry, action. And one action that we have is a custom action get document is the name of the custom action. And these custom actions need one argument, and the one argument that the custom action needs is a document reference. So if we click over here, the only thing that we're passing is actually the document reference that we're getting from the page. So if I click over here, confirm is the same thing. It's very important to name your action output variable name. So in my case, this should be event A. So let's say event A, because this is not events, this is actually event. So let's fix this over here. So this one, I'm putting it over here. So this is the brand that we're getting. I don't think I changed it. It's strange because I changed it, but here it's not changed. So that's strange. Should be changed. Yeah, now it's event and I'm getting the brand. Yeah, so I'm getting the brand. If you're wondering, let me update that. If you're wondering why we cannot use this when we get the document, because this is the actual document and you can see it from over here. If I click over here and click on the brand and click on the action output and click on this document, you can see all the fields that I'm able to use. And currently I can only use two fields, the name and the brand, because they are strings, and this is reference. I cannot put I'm expecting a string and I cannot put a reference. That's why this reference is in red. So why we're doing this, why we're putting in local state and then and then getting the data from the actual local state, because over here we're actually getting this data from the local state called name. And the reason for that is that for some reason, if you don't do it this way, you get a no error, or I'm calling it the red screen of death. So let me show you what I mean. If I change this right now to the way that I tried, and it's actually the way that people are expecting this to work. So let me go over here, and the only thing that we need to actually change is so getting this not from the local state, but getting this from action outputs. And this is the same action. You can see it, it's highlighted as the first one. Click it over here and get the brand. So if I do this in reality, this should work the same way. So if I refresh, if I instant reload this page, you should see that it's actually not, this is not the case, because I would get a no error. So the only way that I managed to do it is put it in the local state and then get this value from the local state and not from the action itself directly. And here I'm just putting the brand, because you can do this. So I'm just getting the brand from the backend query. I'm querying the cars. I'm getting the reference from the page parameter. So I'm getting one car, and when I get this car, so I get in the document, and when I get this document, I can say, give me the name, for example. So this is the one way you can do it, and this is the normal way people are doing it. And I already explained what is the reason why you need to put it in a onload action, and why you need to put it in actions in general, and not using it with the query. So I hope this is loads already. So let's see. And now you can see if I click and try to get the first document, I'll get, as I said, the red screen of death. Okay, it's loaded. Let's click it. And bam, you saw the red screen of death. Let's click it one more time. Let's click over here. Boom, the red screen. So in order to avoid okay, now it's loaded, and let me click over here, and now you don't see any errors. Okay, so let me explain you how to get a list of documents. So a list of documents is almost the same thing. Here, the only difference is that here you get the document reference, and this document reference of cars, and this is a list. So this should be checked, because this is a list of documents. And if we go over here, so the actions that we have, the first action is that I fixed this at the beginning of the video, is that we need to clear so we're doing actually the same thing. We're putting it into a local state, and this is a brand names list of strings, and the list of strings will contain brand names. So first we're clearing the list of strings, because every time if we don't do this, they will add and add and add, which I think it's not the case. If you prefer this way, just delete this action over here. And then the custom action, it's called get docs. The other one was named get doc, and this is get docs. And the document reference, we're actually getting it from document reference, which we can get it from the doc reference of the page. And when we have the doc reference of the page, sometimes this is actually not working for whatever reason. Sometimes I'm not able to manage to do it. First time I was not able to do it, and then the second time I did it, and now as you can see right now, it's also not working, because when you click over here, you should get the map parameter, and I'm not getting the map parameter right now. So maybe just play with it, try to add custom actions over here, or just add actions over it on the top or the bottom, and let's see if you can actually get the map drop down. If you get the map drop down, the other thing is that you need to press on the reference. So you're mapping this with the reference. Sorry, this is of course we're getting this only as the reference. I said the things that I said was not this the case. It was for this action over here. So only here we get the reference. So we get the reference, no further actions. We get this like this. So this is the idea. And then over here we do the same thing, because we'll get the red screen of that. And if we use this, straight from the action, so that's why we're putting it on the local state. So the local state that we have is a list of strings, and those will be brand names. So when we go over here, we should take it from a custom output, and the custom output will be cars, and then we have the map list items, and we're mapping it with the field brand. So that's how we're getting all the brands over here. And it's important, as I said, to name your action output variable name needs to be named, because when you go over here, you should be able to actually see the name that you put. So if you go over here to output actions, you should be able to see cars over here. So that's about it. Here this is a new option, rebuild all pages, rebuild current page, and no build. I recommend you to stick with the default one. So if the default one is rebuild all pages, just stick with it and don't change it if you don't know what is this for. But essentially it is actually if you want your changes to be reflected in all pages, or just the current page, or no reflect at all. So this is basically it. And after that, after you're done, you have to go, for example, in my case, I have a colon, and just go to generate dynamic children. And from here, you can select the local state brand names, which is, as I said, a list of strings. And here in the text underneath, you can actually select the brand name, which will actually give you this brand name over here. Will actually give you the name of the brand. And then this was everything for the setup. And now, sorry, it took like long. This is actually a long video, but I want to explain everything in details. So if you click over here, if I click over here, actually, not you, but I click over here, you can actually see, just before that, let me refresh that. So here is the code for get a document. So what is important about it? My name for the custom action is get doc. You can only do this in a custom action. You cannot do this with a custom function or custom widget. The only way you can do it is a custom action. And then you can actually do it with a custom widget, of course, but in our case, we're using this in an action, so we need an action, right? So the name will be get doc in my case. And the most important part is that you need to exclude it from compilation. So exclude it for compilation, click this, and then here you get your document, and then get the document type will be the collection. In my case, it's cars, but in your case, you should click on whatever collection you want to get, or you want to return, because this is the return type. This you can leave it, and this you can leave it unchecked. So, and after that, we need one argument, and this one argument will be docref, and this will be a document reference, and here it should be the same document reference, right? Because when we're getting a document reference of a document, we should return the same document. So both those two have to be the same. And then the actual code is only one line of code, but it's very important to know that the only thing that you need to change is actually this part over here. So this is cars record. If, for example, I want to check posts record. So if I go to boilerplate, so this is the boilerplate. If I click over here, you can actually see that this is changed now to posts record. And I can cancel this, and then I can actually copy and paste this over here like that. So now, and I need to change this to post as well. And now I will get the post. Save it, and now you get the post. You don't need to compile it because you check this button, exclude from compilation, so you don't need to do it. So let's go back to the way it is, the way it was. And then this is the code, as I said, for to get a document. As I said, those are the only two things that you need to change from the code, and those are the only two things that you need to change from the settings. And then let's go to get documents. Get documents is a slightly bigger code, so it's slightly more code, but we can change this to docs because maybe in your case you not get cars, you get something else. So let's change this to docs, and then you can actually get the code underneath this video. I will link it to my GitHub repository so you can get the code from. So the only things that you need to change here, as you probably guessed it, the first thing, there are two things actually you have to change, or maybe more than two things. So let me comment this one. So the only thing here, the only thing here right now is that you need to actually change cars record. As before, change this to wherever you want to change it. If you want to be a post, if you want to be orders, user, or wherever, events, or wherever is your collection name. Just make sure that the first letter is capital, and make sure that this is written correctly. If you don't know how to write it correctly, just click on any collection, click on boilerplate, and then copy it from over here, and then you know it that this is the right way to write it. So this is actually the only thing that you need to change as the first get doc, and the second get docs is the only thing that you need to change. You can also put it in a local state from over here, so from the custom code, and not from the action. So these three lines over here are basically the same thing as over here. So let me show you. So basically it's the same thing as this action over here. So update local state, this is doing the same thing. And then if I click over here, so yeah, if you want to put it, if you want to, I don't know why you want to do it this way, but if you want to still do it this way, you can do it with ffupstate update, and then here inside, this will be the name of your local state name. In my case, is brand names, and you need to have add, and then this is the document to add, and what you want, which field you want to add. In my case, it's brand, and this is the no safety check. If there is no brand added, if this return no, then just add an empty string. So, but I will not use this now. I'm just showing it how you can do it. So sorry it was sorry that turned out to be a longer video than I was expected, but I hope you actually learned something from it. And yeah, take care. And every Mondays I will try to do live sessions so you can actually join them, and Q&A, so ask questions which I should be answering. I will try to answer. Thanks, goodbye, take care.